Okay folks, one of the main things that I look for when I'm looking for bait on the flats is birds. I stopped at one flat and I didn't see a single bird. All I saw were birds flying away. So I went to another flat, wanted to see if there was anything there. There's birds all over the place. I was just slowly coming through, had everything off on the boat because I listened for that flip, or I watch the water and I see if I see any bait flip or shining in the water, and sure enough I did. So I'm gonna get set up, start chumming, see if I can get the bait to the boat and see what happens. But that's the main thing that I look for when I'm out on the flats, is if I don't see birds, what I'll do is I'll come up to the flat, shut everything off, and just listen for that little flick. And if you hear that little flick, then you know that there's bait in that area. But when I'm on, if the birds are here, then that's telling me that there's bait in the water, because the birds are everywhere. So that's a very good indication when looking for bait on the flats. All right, what we're doing now is using Purina tropical fish food. You can get this at any feed store pretty much. If they carry Purina, then they're going to carry most likely the tropical fish food. If they don't, you can probably ask them and they can get it. If you can't or don't have a feed store near you, then you can order it online from us. We sell it in 5-pound bags. But if you do have a feed store near you, check with them, because it's going to be a lot less expensive to do it like that. But I know people that buy from us because they don't have a feed store near them, which is fine. But the shipping of this stuff kills me, and I can't buy it any cheaper than anybody else can. But it's just a convenience thing. So anyway, we put the chum in the five gallon bucket. I fill it up about halfway, quarter maybe, and then I'm going to mix it with salt water. So what I do is I get about just enough water to get right on top of the chum, and then I just start mixing it. I'm going to just mix it by hand, and you want to get not a soupy consistency, but kind of a doughy consistency. And like I said, one of the main things I like to do is spread it in 180 degrees, so it starts to try to bring the bait fish in. So I'll spread it out in little pieces, not big chunks, just little pieces to broadcast that I'm throwing this bait out there. And then what I'll do is I'll concentrate it in an area where I can throw the net. Okay, now I'm hearing the bait flick off in the distance, so I am drawing them in. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get these fish chummed up, these bait fish chummed up, but majority of the time it's well worth it. If bait is typically, I go by the moniker, if bait is easy, then the fishing's gonna suck. But if the bait's hard, then the fishing's gonna be really good. So right now it's taking me a little bit to get these bait fish into the chum, which is a good sign. I know it takes a little bit of time to do this, but I actually enjoy catching bait. I enjoy going out and finding the bait and catching the bait, because it's just an accomplishment thing for me. I just enjoy doing it. And just like that, we're loaded up. One throw, Just took me a little time to get them chummed up, but once we got them chummed up, good to go. Got pinfish, whitebait, thread fins, a ton of pinfish, which is good to see. Today, folks, what I did was I used my 10-foot, 1/4-inch Talon cast net, and as you can see, it caught the bait for me. Now it's time to go and fish. I'm going to show you this hole. It's pretty impressive. There's the beginning of it right there. And it goes from like 45 feet down to about 48 feet. May even go deeper than that. Yeah, there's almost 50 feet right there. 49 feet. 50 feet. So it's just a hole that drops down like this, and then it will start coming back up, and there it comes. Some fish all over it, but unfortunately it's blowing so hard I can't get station up on it. I found this pretty good dip in the bottom when it went from like 45 to 50 feet. And my first bait down just got hammered. The wind's starting to pick up a little bit. Oh. But I had this spot marked before, but I don't know if I've ever fished it before. But it literally dips. It's a pretty good ledge. And I marked about 4 different spots on it. I know the trolling motor's having a hard time keeping us because it's blowing hard and the tide's coming in. All right, I've been bouncing around quite a bit because I'm trying to find some new spots, and I found this one little pencil-looking drawing that was a small ledge that I marked. So I came back over it, went and looked at a couple different spots, came back over it. I've stopped like 3 or 4 times, didn't get any hits, so I stopped at this spot. First bait down, bam. So I know there's Spanish mackerel around, so I know there's bait around. But yeah, the first bait in the water was a cut bait. Now I'm trying to live bait to see if that does anything. But the mackerel hitting all around. Well, folks, I get asked a lot if I'm fishing inside the skyway or outside the skyway. And lately, if I've been fishing in the bay, it's been on the Gulf side of the skyway. But I'm inside the skyway right now. I just caught a snapper. I found a new ledge. As you'll see here, it's a pretty pronounced ledge coming off the shipping channel. I was on the high side, so I was in shallower water looking down into the channel. If you're trying to be in the channel and look up the channel, I know I've said this a lot, but I always get this question. If you're in the channel trying to look up the ledge, you'll never see it. You have to be outside the channel looking down the ledge to be able to see it. Okay, I was fishing on that side of the boat, dropping it down. I'm marking all kinds of fish, and I'm wondering, why am I not catching anything? So I moved to this side of the boat, I pitch forward, and immediately get hit. So literally 7 feet, 8 feet away, that makes a difference. So setting up on that structure properly is key to be able to get bites or no bites. Now the tide is moving pretty good. The wind's starting to pick up, which I knew it was going to. I knew I would have kind of a short window to be out here, but I just wanted to see if I could find more spots and catch a couple of fish. And I've caught a couple of fish, caught a couple of snappers, so can't complain. Tide's picked up just a little bit. I may have to go to a heavier, I'm on a 3/4 ounce Huggy right now. I may have to go to a heavier, like 1. So I don't think I'm getting to the bottom because I should have been hit by now. All right, folks, what I did is I moved inshore because it just got way too rough. And I've got fish blowing up around me. Now I just got to catch them. But I haven't done this kind of fishing. Well, I did it with my grandson, but I don't do it very often. Golly, popping everywhere. Can I get him to eat? Man, I've got redfish in front of me, snook in front of me. They've busted the chummers, but I cannot get one to eat a live bait. I thought I had one on a cut bait, and it ended up being a catfish. It's frustrating because I've actually seen the redfish, so I don't know what else I need to do, but I need to do something because he's not a big one, but it's a fish. Try and do 2 different things. I'm trying live bait and white bait, or live bait and cut bait, little snook. Seeing if I could just get something going. But I'm in this cove, and as you can see, what happens is, there's a fish that busted right over there. What happens is the tide runs in this way. When the tide is going out, the tide is actually coming in right now, so it's going to be coming through this way, but it's not very fast through here. So I figured I'd get myself out of the wind. I've caught fish in here before, so I'm just killing a little bit of time. But this actually has a flow through going through the mangroves, so it's not solid land behind the mangroves. It's actually a flow through. So I like that when I'm looking for mangrove islands. Instead of having an island itself, I like to see the flow throughs because those fish can go back and forth. And once these tides get high like this spot usually is a pretty shallow spot, but with the southwest winds that we've got is pushing a lot of water in the bay, so that's allowing the water to come up in this area. And I've caught fish in here before, so I thought, well, what the heck, I'll just try it to get out of the wind and see if I can catch a couple of fish. Caught a couple of catfish, had one redfish come up and try to take my bait, and then I caught that little snook. So let's see what else we can catch. Now I've got my redfish. I saw my line bounce. I had it in the... Now when they get in the mangroves like that, you want to keep your pole very low to the water so he keeps them out of the mangroves. But this is a good redfish. Yeah, good redfish. Where the heck are you going? Wherever he wants. Oh, yeah. Good redfish. Now that was on cut bait. See, when I'm fishing by myself and doing something like this, it allows me to try a couple different things since I don't have to actually man the pole. But this one was caught on a cut bait. He was caught on a cut bait with the inshore slacker. And he swallowed it. Not a bad little red. Yeah, he swallowed it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop him off, and they'll be able to popping him off like that will allow him to pass that small, it's a small little slacker jig, inshore slacker, so allow him to pass that through. But that fish came on cut bait. I saw a fish come up and swirl on a live bait, but he wasn't really aggressive with it, so that's why I went to a cut pinfish Caught a couple of catfish. Sometimes you got to deal with that. But same thing with fishing out deep in the bay for grouper and snapper. Same thing goes for here. Always change it up until you find a pattern. Even hooking the bait differently, like hooking in the tail, or hooking in the belly, or hooking it in the lips, or not in the lips, but in that nostril part. You want to change it up until you can figure out how these fish want to eat. I knew that there was fish in here, so I just had to wait them out. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope that you were able to learn something from this. The winds just got so high, I needed to get back into some protection. It was blowing pretty good, and they're calling for gale force tomorrow and Saturday. So as you saw, I caught that redfish fishing that cove. I'm gonna break it down a little bit. Hopefully I broke it down enough for you guys to get a better understanding of what I was looking at. And we found a couple of new spots out there fishing for grouper and snapper. So again, thank you very much for fishing. Jeez, I can't talk today. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Fish more, catch more. See you on the flip side.